Well, the big question tonight, will Msimanga still be Tshwane's leader come Thursday? And that's a question he'll have to answer. He has highlighted all his achievements during a press conference today, but will it be enough to keep him from being booted out as the mayor? Well, he joins us now on the line from our Pretoria studios. Mr. Msimanga, thanks for your time tonight. Firstly, you seem to have 48 hours in which to fight for your life, at least as mayor in Tshwane. What's your strategy?
Thank you very much, Kathy, and good evening to the South African public. Kathy, I think a few things need to be put in place. One is that when the issue of Ms. Ocamp came up, we dealt with the issue decisively. There was never any insistence on the city manager to not deal with the issue of Marita Ocamp. In fact, the city manager is on record saying that I allowed him the space to deal with it. What I did was that after the issue of Marita Ocamp was dealt with, I even went as far as to say, city manager, let's go full out and look at all the senior management in the city. Let's do an audit and then let's release the results thereof and then see how we are able to then correct the situation going forward. So that's number one. Number two, I'm on record today thanking the partners. In fact, I met with the partners that form part of the coalition yesterday evening, where we spoke about what is it that we want to do. And today, in the press conference, which you were covering, I did thank and I did acknowledge that we are not in this by ourselves. And I've, on a number of occasions, including when we did the State of the City address, I did acknowledge that, we've met. We've met with the ANC, we've met with the EFF, we've met with the multi-party, and which we're in government with, where we've actually even agreed on a number of things that I've pronounced on. So I fail to understand when the issue now comes up that I don't consult. But anyway, I think it's part of politics, and then we now need to find a way of moving forward.
But Mr. Msimanga, I don't think that the consultation issue, sorry to interject there, the consultation issue also seemed to stem down specifically to how you handled the situation with the city manager.
Well, this is why I'm saying I don't know what is consultation, because the day or 2 days before the particular issue was to be taken up, I did reach out to the EFF in the city. We had a meeting. I explained to them what was happening, and I did explain to them, Kathy, that nobody has been found guilty, but my name and the name of the city and the party that I represent has been taking some serious flag by from Maeba and the ANC for saying a whole lot of half-truths. And therefore, instead of hiding like they used to hide before, let us put things on the table. The ANC used to, hide a whole lot of things. I mean, if you look at into the smart meter debacle, the PAYU debacle, if you look into the fleet management account debacle, if you look into the broadband account, if you look into the West Capital account, all of those things are things that we are now taking to court or had to take to court in order to bring light to it. In this instance, we said, nobody is being found guilty. The city manager wrote to me after I've asked him a set of questions to say, look, these are the allegations that are coming up. Can you please indicate to me what has happened here? He wrote to me. I was happy with the initial response. And then after that, more allegations came up. And I said, look, we now need to subject this to a council resolution or a council decision in terms of how we proceed with this. So I then called all the partners and I said to them, look, I cannot continue like this. It's either I'm going to put this on the council table and have all these things being investigated, or we're going to continue to be accused of corruption. We're going to continue to be accused of maladministration, as Maeba has continuously said. In actual sense, displaying, their lack of respect for the rule of law, where he's gone out and say any tender that is above 200,000, I should have known about it and I should have signed on it. And which the MFMA actually strictly prohibits me from engaging in tender processes, because it means that I will be interfering with supply chain management.
You're going to have to excuse me for interjecting again, because we don't have a lot of time left in order to conclude this interview. But right now, regardless of what happened and how events unfolded, the reality is that you're sitting with a political problem here, and the EFF says it's because you've been unable to manage the relationship of how coalitions work. So given that that's the situation tonight, how do you plan on still being in office at the end of Thursday?
Well, I think, Kathy, the party and the voting partners, or the multi-party that is forming the coalition government in Tshwane, have come up very, very clear to say that they are supporting Msimanga as the mayor as things stand. It will be left up to the ANC and up to the EFF to decide which way they want to go. Moreover, I think the EFF, who had said that they are the vanguards of ensuring that there is proper accountability and transparency in terms of how we're doing things, here's an opportunity for them to say, let us make sure that the right things are being done. And therefore, if we are going to vote back the ANC through the back door, then we will ensure that the looting and the corruption and making sure that the state or the city is left again bankrupt will continue. And then history will be able to then judge us. But from where we stand, the multi-party is standing by Msimanga as the executive mayor.
But when we look at those numbers, between the ANC and the EFF amongst themselves, they could very well have enough votes to get you out. So that being the case, Mr. Msimanga, do you have a broader strategy than just appealing perhaps to the conscience of some of those who have called for this vote?
Well, we're still, engaging in terms of ensuring that we continue to do the good work that we are doing in the city of Tshwane. And then we'll continue to engage either with the EFF and then try to find each other. We'll take it from there on Thursday, Kathy. But if there's one thing that we've already agreed on as a party and as a group of political parties that have formed government in Tshwane, is that we cannot compromise on the principle of good governance. We cannot compromise on the principle of transparency in how we do things. And we will therefore, put that on the table, and then we should be able to then take it from there.
Will the DA be supporting the call for the voting to take place in secret, as has been asked for by the ANC?
Well, I think that will be up to the Speaker of Council to make the call.
Yes, but will you support such a call?
Interfere with the... Well, it doesn't have to be. I mean, if people want to vote, then they should vote. As it happened in Nelson Mandela Bay, it was an open vote. And if there are those that, feel that they don't want to vote with us, who are part of the coalition government, then, they can raise their hand, and then we would know what is happening instead of wanting to do it in secrecy.
And for the DA members who the ANC says it has lobbied and has secured their votes that are part of the council to vote you out, should they prepare themselves for repercussions? Should they decide that perhaps you're no longer the correct person to lead the Tshwane Metro?
Well, the caucus has made a conscious decision to say that we are supporting a candidate. And I haven't met any individual who had in the caucus have indicated that they were not going to vote with us or unhappy with us. I mean, yesterday we had a caucus where all these things were ironed out. So none of that has ever come through. So, this might be just a tactic of making sure that the caucus is divided and people are looking at each other sideways instead of going there confidently knowing that we need to have a battle on our hands, that we need to strategize and win. So that's what I'm focusing on, is to make sure that we go in council on Thursday, put our case on the table, and let the people decide which way they want to go.
All right. Before I let you go, simple yes or no answer. Will you be mayor on Friday?
Well, the caucus, the council of Tshwane will decide, but Msimanga will continue to fight the good fight in order to ensure that the people of Tshwane get what they deserve, and that is a good government.
Yes or no?
Well, the people of the councillors will decide, Kathy, and that's what it's on. I cannot say this is going to happen or that is going to happen.
Right.
But from our side, there's a good fight that is going to be put up.
All right, so Msimanga, that's where we leave it for tonight. Tshwane Mayor and DA Premier candidate for Gauteng. We'll speak to Kgosi Mayepa, the ANC Tshwane chair, whose name has been put up to potentially replace Msimanga in that vote. That's coming up next.